Tumel. Yeah, look, Tumel.
One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two.
Siyaqala ngoku. Iyahamba le nto. Siyaqala ngoku. Amandla! Amandla! Oh. Amandla! Viva ANC! Viva! Viva Women's League! Viva! Viva Youth League! Viva! Phambili nge-alliance! Phambili! Phambili nge-alliance! Phambili! Comrades, let's start our conference without any delay. Let's start our conference without any delay now. Can we sit down? Can comrades at the door, can you ask delegates to come in? Can you help us to ask delegates to come in? We're starting now, comrades. Comrades, we're going to start now. I'll hand over to Comrade Unati for this opening session so that we open our conference formally. Comrade Unati.
Amanda! Kawetu! Amanda! Kawetu! Thank you very much, Comrade Convener. Comrades, good morning once again to the leadership of the NEC that's led by Comrade Barbara, to the IPC members, to the Alliance and the leagues, and to all the delegates that are here this morning. I would like us to stand up so that we can sing the national anthem so that we can officially open the conference. Thank you very much.
Together and united we shall stand. Let us live and God for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Amanda! Kawetu! Eita ANC Western Cape, Eita! Eita ANC Western Cape, Eita! Thank you very much, comrades. We are going to call up on our chaplaincy now to come and pray for us so that we have a blissful conference from today up until we close tomorrow. So without wasting any time, I'm going to call upon the chaplaincy to come to the front and bless this occasion, our 9th conference of the ANC. Thank you.
Good morning. Tiyabulisa. I am Reverend Dorothea Gopi, the chairperson of the Western Cape Chaplaincy. I'm going to read one verse that I'm going to pray on for this conference. We are getting it from Isaiah 62, and I'm going to take verse 6. I have posted watchmen on your walls, Jerusalem. They will never be silent day or night. Who will call on the Lord? Give yourselves no rest. That is the word we are going to pray on today. I want to say that today we are coming to put together a team that is going to watch over Western Cape, that won't be silent day and night when the DA government want to make this province independent from all provinces. They won't keep quiet. Masithandazeni ndizawuthandaza ngesiXhosa. My colleague will pray in English. Egameni loyise, egameni lonyana, egameni lomoya oyingcwele. Mesiya oyingcwele, ndisondela kuwe Mesiya ngale ntsasa. Ndizisa imibulelo Mesiya oyingcwele. Sithi wena Mesiya usisiqalo, usisiphelo. Mesiya oyingcwele, akekho uThixo njengawe Mesiya oyingcwele. Sondela kuwe ke Nkosi xa sizokuqala le conference Mesiya oyingcwele. Sicela wena ke Mesiya usiblesse ngomoya oyingcwele kuba ngeke iqale ngaphandle kwakho. We are calling on the Holy Spirit into kokuba sibe amongst us Mesiya oyingcwele. Xa Mesiya oyingcwele delegates zase Western Cape, ze branches, i-regions Mesiya oyingcwele, i-province leadership ye-province ne-leadership ye-national, xa ilapha Mesiya oyingcwele izokudibanisa Mesiya oyingcwele. I-team ezawuthi Mesiya oyingcwele ijongane ne-Western Cape ingasoze ithule Mesiya oyingcwele. Hlala ke Mesiya oyingcwele phakathi kwethu Mesiya oyingcwele. Usipho bobulumko bupha uSolomon Mesiya oyingcwele. Xa sizawuchonga i-leadership Mesiya oyingcwele namhlanje Mesiya oyingcwele. Iba nayo yonke i-delegate Mesiya oyingcwele. Ube nayo Mesiya oyingcwele i-leadership kule ndawo Mesiya oyingcwele. Sizoshukumisa amathambo Mesiya oyingcwele. Enkokheli zase-Western Cape Mesiya oyingcwele makashukuma amathambo Oscampete, amathambo eNisilinga, amathambo Mesiya oyingcwele odala oma, amathambo Mesiya oyingcwele Malinga Mesiya oyingcwele. Siyacela Mesiya oyingcwele into yokuba la mathambo makangathuli xa konakala Mesiya oyingcwele. Sisondela kuwe ke Mesiya, sithi banathi namhlanje Mesiya oyingcwele. Fikelela Mesiya oyingcwele kuwo wonke i-delegate lapha Mesiya oyingcwele. Ubulumko Mesiya oyingcwele. Usikhokhele ke xa sizawuthi senze le province Mesiya oyingcwele. Xa le team izawube inyuliwe, izawukuba ijongene nokurebuilda nokurenewa umbutho wethu, movement Mesiya oyingcwele eyafela ngoba wethu ngoko ngonaphakade. Amen.
Good morning, comrades. Amen. Viva ANC, viva. Viva Western Cape, viva. We are trusting God for great things to take place in our province, the Western Cape. And as our ANC motto is for the Western Cape, the 9th Western Cape Provincial Conference, rebuilding and renewing a people's movement in the Western Cape towards a better life for all. I'm saying to us as comrades this morning and as our leadership of the province, we're going to take the Western Cape back by storm. We're not going to lay back. We're not going to let things deter us. We are going to make things happen. And we're going to make everything happen because God is with us. The DA has controlled the Western Province now for 15 years. Why are we so weak? We must be strong. We are the ANC of today, and we can make things happen. So God is with us. Every region that is represented here this morning, we want to say that God can do great things. And I want to say this in a word of encouragement. 1 Chronicles chapter 4, verse 9 and verse 10, the prayer of Jabez. Jabez was he was born in sorrow, and he asked God Almighty for one request, and God has granted him his request. He asked God to keep him away from evil. Then he asked God a second thing. He asked God Almighty, enlarge my territory, enlarge my coast. So I'm saying to every region represented here this morning, Boland, I'm also saying to the Dula Omar region, I'm talking to every region here this morning, the Overberg region, we need to extend our territories. We need to extend our borders and need to reclaim and rebuild our ANC for the power and the unique work what God is in store for us. I'm going to say a prayer, and I'm going to trust God with each one of us this morning that ANC Western Cape is going to take the Western Cape again. For the next elections, we're going to win. Our God and our Father, we thank you this morning hour. We honor you for your greatness and your mercy towards us. We thank you that you are with us. We thank you for this conference, every aspect of the conference, for the leadership that will be elected. We pray it will be done to the glory of your name. And we thank you for strength and victory this morning for our ANC, for the Western Cape to be won again in the 2024 elections. Thank you and God bless you.
Amanda, awethu, for God is with us in this provincial conference, and no one can stop us. Thank you very much to our chaplains and for that prayer. Comrades, we are going to move straight to the messages of support of our program. We are going to start with the ANC Youth League. Can the ANC Youth League come to the front for the message of support? Thank you very much. Can the Women's League and the Veterans League be ready after that, please? Thank you.
Amandla! Awethu! Viva ANC, ANC, viva! Viva ANC Youth League, ANC Youth League, ANC Youth League, viva! Viva ANC Women's League, ANC Women's League, viva! Viva ANC Veterans League, viva! Viva Alliance, viva! Viva PYA, 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 viva! Amandla! Awethu! Roar, young lions, roar! Roar, young lions, roar! Phambili nge-40%, phambili! Phambili nge-40%, phambili! Amandla! Program Director, to the leadership Ekoyo, leadership ANC, to the national leadership, to the Women's League, Youth League, Veterans League, Alliance partners, PYA, and to the delegates that are present this morning. Program Director, my message on behalf of the African National Congress Youth League will be very brief. Ours, comrades, is to make a clarion call to the delegation at this 9th Provincial Congress. If we are to say that the renewal agenda is a genuine and it is a program that we are championing in this province, then we cannot say that the renewal of the youth of the ANC in this province will be in the absence of infusing the Youth League as part and parcel of the collective. Now, my message to the delegation here is to reaffirm the conference resolution of the African National Congress, its 55th National Conference that took place in Nasrec. We resolved, comrades, to replenish the ANC. The membership ought to draw more young people into its ranks and leadership structures to be able to tackle the perception that the ANC is disconnected from the struggles of young people. Now, particularly on the leadership and renewal, conference further resolved to ensure that the generational mix when electing leadership of the ANC takes place, and that we further resolved that young people must be organically developed in the ANC so that when they are elected, are imbued in the organizational culture as well as its theoretical disposition. Now, my clarion call on behalf of the African National Congress Youth League is to ensure that that conference resolution becomes a reality. We remain committed to ensuring that the 40% youth representation at this 9th Provincial Congress is a reality, because we are alive to the fact that the renewal agenda of the ANC cannot happen in absence of an organically grown and organically grew ANC Youth League that will form part of this collective. So ngalo mazwi, mine is to say to the delegation that as it relates to this particular conference, the young people remain resolute in ensuring that the voice of young people is heard and that we are able to deposit both the theoretical framework of the Youth League as well as those that we have mandated to form part and parcel of this collective. Amandla.
awethu malibongwe igama lamakhosikazi wathinta abafazi wathinta imbokodo. Comrades, in this morning of this conference, we as the ANC Women's League wish well ukuba le conference mayiqhubekeke ngendlela ye-African National Congress. I want to greet the outgoing IPC members who have kept this organization under very difficult conditions. As the ANC Women's League, we say, indeed, there can never be any renewal, any rebuilding without the women in this African National Congress. Comrades, we say gender issues and gender matters are not matters of the women or the ANC Women's League. They are issues of each and every member of the African National Congress. We say there can never be an ANC in this province or anywhere without the involvement of women. We have taken a decision that we have to go back to when the ANC was strong. It was because the ANC Women's League was strong. We are saying all the issues of gender to song as the ANC, aizo issues abafazi, and we want the ANC to take note of that. We are saying even to the incoming leadership, we want our women to participate fully as much as they have responsibilities for women. And we remember women like Omamuma Klayeke, when they built this organization, even at that time, it was not easy under the issues that were dominated by men at that time, that we as women, ilizwi lethu lizawuhlala livakala ngawo onke amaxesha. Ngalomazi maqabane sinqwenelela le conference iqhubekeke ngendlela epholileyo. We also say women should not be seen loitering around in this conference. We must be in commission and participate fully. Otherwise, sizohlala sicinezekile bafazi. We must discipline each other, all of us, we must participate. We are here not only to vote, but to make sure that decision and resolution taken here actually involve us as women and we participate fully. If you as women are seen loitering and not participating, that is not a mandate of the ANC Women's League. So we make sure that we participate fully in this one. Amandla! Malibongwe!
Uzayithola kanjani? Uhlele koneni. Wathinta abafazi. Wathinta imbokodo. Uzawufafi. Can we have the Veterans League, please, for a message of support?
Viva the ANC, viva! Viva the ANC Women's League, viva! Viva the ANC Youth League, viva! Viva the ANC Veterans League, viva! Program Director, anditshoyo ndibabulise bonke this leadership. You know, dicula eligwijo. Andiculi ngale ndlela yini. I'm saying, uyalila. Uyalila uKhrisani. What I'm saying, he's crying where he is. When he sees us in this situation. And this situation reminds me the conversation I had with him. I think it was 1991 when he came back. I had this conversation. I said to him, excitingly, but not very long, you're going to occupy these houses which were occupying Gobota, Nabanye. His response was, Mam Chonyan, I'm not going to go to Parliament. I'm not going to avail myself. I don't want to be a minister. I don't want to be whatever. I don't want to be in government. I'm going to stay with the people. I want to watch these comrades of ours because I know when they are in government, basa kuchincha. They will forget people. And that is what is happening. Tina ke sesibadala bethu nesililisa. What he's saying in his grave. You know, Chris Hani had 2 homes. Always when he speaks, he has said, I have 2 homes. The Eastern Cape and Western Cape. Western Cape, I'm pleading to you. I'm pleading to you. Let us make a history in this conference. For his sake, let us make a history in this conference. I wish all the delegates, actually I'm pleading to the delegates, don't vote because the sake of vote. Don't vote because you were given money. Imali izawuphela. And the ANC ayizuphela. Yes, comrades, indlela endibuhlungu ngayo. Because I don't have another home. Now we are a laughing stock. I wish delegates, we elect leaders, credible leaders. Leaders where dingabi nanhloni xa ndibheka kumamgwevu next door. Disithi please ndizocela ukuba makuvotele i-ANC. And what I like, I'm boasting of my age, Sanalam, because abantu abadala bona lesdadelek. Abantu abadala lesdadelek. Abahambi befuna isimali. Hayi. Namhlanje umbutho wethu nje. Comrade Leruma, my dear, I love you, Comrade Leruma, and I respect you because we were taught that whether if he's your leader, is your leader. I respect you. And also, I want to thank you with your whole team for having this conference after such a long time. Changing PTT to another PTT. Today, we are boasting that we're going to live here with the PEC elected. But I'm saying to you that the leadership, we have a bookmus in the ANC through the eye of the needle. When you put in it, because so we have to put on the leadership we are going to land. The leadership we are going to elect here. Comrade, with those words, I wish for this conference. I want to be proud when I go home. You know, sometimes my children used to tease me, but I used to look at this ANC of yours. But I always say to them, Namhlanje, you are this thing. You are this professional because of this ANC. Namhlanje, you can talk because of this ANC. Namhlanje, you can have this because of this ANC. This can take a cool game. Enkosi, thank Amanda. Amanda!
Comrades, the Veterans League has spoken. Indeed, this conference, history must be made. The ANC Western Cape, we must take back our place. And in doing so, we can only do it with the united ANC. Thank you to the Veterans League. Thank you very much. An injury to one? An injury to all? We are going to call upon Kosatu for a message of support. Thank you.
Amanda. 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 Martha. Martha. Matimba. Matimba. All power. All power. Program Director, the NEC members present led by Comrade Gracie, the IPC leaders present led by Comrade Lerumo, the Alliance partners present, the Veterans League, the Women's League, the PYA structures, and all delegates present. Comrades, as a federation, we really hoped that we were going to proceed yesterday. But because of unforeseen reasons and sin reasons, we could not proceed. But on behalf of the office bearers of our federation and workers across the length and breadth of our province, workers are saying that we must present this message to you, to say that they are happy and jubilant that the ANC at last is holding its conference. It's holding its conference after a very, very long time, comrades. Your conference convened under the theme Rebuilding and Renewing a People's Movement in the Western Cape towards a better life for all. This is a very profound and revolutionary theme with a very high expectation, comrades. The first expectation is the kind of leadership that you are going to elect here today. The second one is the sustainability and political education that will have to take place after that. Hence, we are saying your theme is very profound. We've managed to read your press statement before this conference issued on the 19th of June, coupled with your roadmap, Comrade IPC. The roadmap when you came into office that you have drafted. A roadmap that indicates to you as to what you're supposed to do at the end of the day. Your what you are raising in your statement and what is stated in your roadmap complement one another. Because you speak of renewal. In your roadmap, you indicate how you are going to indulge in renewing this organization. There are very pertinent issues that you are raising in your roadmap. You speak of political education. You speak of how and what is it that you are going to do in government, how you are going to relate to civil society. You speak of strengthening the alliance. And we want you to engage on this, comrades, as delegates, as conference. If ever you are aware of your own roadmap as branches, whether the issues raised in that roadmap did you manage to comply with that? Comrades, here's the big question, as I have indicated. Did you indeed manage to turn around the organization? You have laid out a roadmap for yourself. Did you indeed turn around the organization and align it with the renewal program as resolved in your 54th National Conference? Is this further aligned and amalgamated with your own vision and envisaged in your deliberations of your own roadmap, which will serve as your blueprint? As we are saying as a federation that you as conference, you must deliberate on that and see if you have really done that. You are therefore under an obligation, comrades, to interrogate and introspect the quality of the work in rebuilding the organization. That is the rebuilding of branches, political workshops, the interaction with civil society, the rebuilding your relationship with alliance structures. And this must be expanded to a meaningful contribution continentally and international, to continental and international politics. because this is where the ANC, in particular here in the Western Cape, is lacking. You don't play your political role continentally and internationally. You don't. And that is one area that you have to work on. Comrades, these are agitating questions we are throwing to you as workers. It is not something personally or arrogancy. The reason why we are raising these issues. But we raise these issues because we are also part of the ANC. This is also our ANC. We are raising these issues or questions because we feel that you are slacking behind or you are lagging behind as an organization. Comrades, the working class is yearning for a vibrant and honest and pro-working class ANC which will not waver or outsource its responsibility when the time arrives to defend them. This is what we are expecting from an ANC. Honest, a pro-working class, an ANC, when things become tough, they don't outsource their responsibility. That is the kind of ANC that we want here in the province. And that is the kind of leadership that we would like to emerge here in this conference. Comrades, this conference is a test for you. There are very funny things that we have noticed yesterday. There are people who just speak. What they say, they don't care. You have become a disgrace to society. There is a bad ado, comrades, which rears its ugly head in this province, is when those who did not emerge into leadership structures are responding by delegitimizing the process through anarchy, mudslinging, sabotaging, and other conduct which are alien to the disciplined culture of our organization. Comrades, as what indicated by the Veterans League, we concur with that. When you are defeated, and this is how we have grew up within the ANC, when you are defeated, submit yourself to the elected leadership. Irrespective whether you love that leadership or not, submit yourself. We are holding a view, comrades, as a federation that it will do well to the organization if you can find each other on the kind of leadership that should emerge out of this process and respect the democratic processes that produce that kind of a leadership at the end of the day. We want to speak to you, delegates, as workers. We want to speak to you. Take control of your processes. Don't be controlled by money. Don't be controlled by rumor mongers. Don't be controlled by factions. Appeal to those who lobby for you. Tell them that if you really love the ANC, come together, speak of a common leadership. your names together, and out of that pool, you come up with a leadership. If really you love your organization. Comrades, I've already raised my view on your stance and your participation on continental and international politics. I think that is an issue that we will have to take to commissions in order for us to deal with that. But I want, in conclusion, comrades, to raise the issue around the alliance. Some are saying the alliance is at a crossroad. Some are saying the alliance is stagnant. But either way, comrades, we are faced with a very serious challenge within our alliance. And why are we faced with the challenge? It's because the alliance is leaderless. The ANC is not there. The ANC is not there. The ANC has decided to put its head in the soil and fight with itself. That's what is happening. Now, Comrade Gang, you have said you are going to work in building the alliance. Let's do that. Let's do that. That is the first program that we have to indulge in at the end of the day, so that we address the challenge. I've also seen in your statement that you complain about the DA. Yes, the DA will behave like that because we have allowed the DA to do that. We have allowed the DA to come into power. It's us. It's no one else, it's us as the ANC. Comrades, as I round up, I want to round up with a quote from Comrade O.R. Tambo when he was addressing Comrade Benson, when he was addressing the 60th anniversary of the Communist Party. He speaks about the alliance. And this is what we have to take, comrades. When we begin to deal with the issue around the alliance, he says, I quote, "Our alliance is not merely a paper alliance, created at conference tables and formalized through the signing of documents and representing only an agreement of leaders. Our alliance is a living organism that has grown out of struggles. We have built it out of our separated and common experiences. It has been nurtured by our endeavors to counter the total offensive mounted by the National Party, in particular against all oppositions and against very same concept of democracy. In this instance, we are no more talking about the National Party, but we talk about the Democratic Alliance in this instance. If what OR then, if we turn that into today, we speak of the Democratic Alliance. It has been strengthened through resistance to the vicious onslaught against both the ANC and the South African Communist Party by the Pretoria regime. It has been fertilized by the blood of countless heroes. Many of them are unnamed and unsung. It has been reinforced by a common determination to destroy the enemy and by our shared belief in certainty of victory." Close quote. That is what Comrade O.R. said to us. And today I am appealing to you, conference, of the ANC that the issue around the alliance, it's a very pertinent matter. It's a matter that we will have to deal with and to consider and to nurse. Because it is only through that we will be able to reclaim the Western Cape. The ANC will never on its own. You have proven yourself. You have proven yourself. Comrades, without wasting any time, as workers, as a federation, we want to wish the ANC a united, tolerant, comrades. Let's tolerate one another. Let's tolerate one another. And successful conference. Amandla! Matimba! Aina.
Amandla! An injury to one, an injury to all. Socialism, we must build it now, comrades. We are going to call on the SACP to give us a message of support. Thank you very much. Hakuna mutu aphethe umhlaba ayedwa. Umhlaba wonke esandleni sabantu. Hakuna mutu aphethe umhlaba ayedwa.
Forward to socialism, forward. Forward to socialism, forward. Passing a capitalism, panse. Passing a austerity, panse. Passing a budget cuts, panse. Viva SACP, viva. Viva SACP, viva. Passing a Huapilizo, panse. Passing a factionalism, panse. Passing a buying of votes, panse. Pambiling ANC, pambili. Pambiling ANC, pambili. An injury to one. An injury to all. Viva Kosatu, viva. Viva Kosatu, viva. Watindu mama. Watindu mbokoto. Hansi ngohlukumezo lo mama panse. Viva ANC Men's League, viva. Viva ANC Men's League, viva. Raw Young Lions, raw. Viva ANC Youth League, viva. Pambili nge-PYA, pambili. Amandla. Awethu. Pambili nge-reconfiguration of the alliance, pambili. Thank you very much, Program Director. Let me take this opportunity to salute the leadership of the ANC in the province, led by Comrade Lerumo as a convener, Comrade Tande as a coordinator. Siyakuvuyela that ultimately nikwazile to convene this August event. The conference of the ANC, a platform to reflect on the direction and the trajectory of our shared national democratic revolution. Comrade Chair, is a fundamental basis to ensure that we emerge out of this 9th Provincial Conference capable of inspiring confidence to the majority people of this province and instill fear to the enemies of our revolution. We must struggle on two fronts. The struggle against regressive tendencies on the one hand, and the struggle against the discredited Western imperialist, neoliberal, and austerity trajectory on the other hand. Those are fundamental struggles which this conference needs to engage on as fundamental basis to renew our movement and redirect our shared national democratic revolution. Let us wage the struggle against all this from the renewal and rebuilding of this glorious movement need to be located within a particular context, inspired by the leader of the Vietnamese Communist Party, Uncle Ho Chi Minh. Out and close quote, Uti, just as a river has a source to have water, without a source, the river dries up. The tree must have a root. If there is no root, the tree will wither. A revolutionary must have morals. Without morality, no matter what potential he or she might have, cannot lead the people in our revolution. Close quote. Now, what are therefore these regressive tendencies we must confront here in this conference and emerge differently out of this conference? They include the key, amongst other things, politics of regionalism, sexism, racism, auctioning of delegates through the use of money, where delegates are made commodities, where they are bought and sold to the highest bidder. This is not an auction to auction off the direction and the leadership which must emerge out of this conference. This is a political school to renew our movement. We must combat factionalism. Let's face it, comrade, honestly, let's be brutal. I am a member of the ANC. The period under review has been made with factionalism, where politics within the movement have been either CRized or Ariitized. CRization and Aritization of the body politics of our movement has been a problem, and that is why we are where we are. Let's face it. Yes. There might be some new realignment, but such presented a threat for the renewal of the ANC and the reconfiguration of the alliance, if you like. Let's face it, comrades. Erosion of political accountability, where leaders can no longer account about political matters and resources of these organizations. Demobilization and manipulation of organizational processes. Comrades, let us reclaim our true values, true character of our movement. Our conference is not an auction, as I indicated, it's a political school. Let us expose and isolate those who go around carrying bags full of money stolen from the state. The renewal must restore the true revolutionary values of our movement by ensuring that we slay the monster of counter-revolutionaries in all forms and from all angles. If not, our movement, when you talk about the movement, we refer to the ANC, we refer to the party, we refer to COSATU, we refer to the mass democratic movement, if you like. This movement, it will wither like a river without a water, source or a tree without a root. Uprooting these tendencies require a leadership collective that is firmly grounded on revolutionary theory and principle, a transformative leadership that listens and acts fairly, a leadership with high revolutionary morality, and most important, a leadership that is grounded and responsive on the struggles of our people. Where are our people? Our people, as we speak, Bagumbuze Manzini, here in Cape Town, our people, as we speak, are facing retrenchment. Our people, as we speak, are dying of poverty. Our people, as we speak, are unemployed. Our people, as we speak, are facing retrenchment. Those are the primary motive forces of our revolution. Amandla! 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 Viva ANC, viva! Viva ANC, viva! Thank you very much. Yabona ke, Comrade SG, Women Bugs, uyafika apa. Is it not a reflection of a reconfiguration of the alliance in practice? In action. Comrades, it's a privilege and honor and didn't tell I'm going to SG. Comrades, let us wage the struggle against the Western imperialist, neoliberal and austerity trajectory as a second front. Comrades, neoliberalism as a developmental stage of capitalism reproduces class inequalities, poverty, joblessness, because its basic logic is nothing but profit maximization. Therefore, neoliberalism as the present economic trajectory we are pursuing is responsible for the abandonment of productive sectors of our economy in favor of speculative economy, financialization of our economy. That we must reject, because it seeks to displace jobs or shared jobs. Neoliberalism is responsible for joblessness. It is responsible for the present challenge or crisis of load shedding. It is responsible for the escalation of levels of crime. It is responsible for the overcrowding in schools. It is responsible for the arrogance that some liberals can even impose or force us to abandon the tool of the revolution, that of a catered deployment policy. This conference must reaffirm catered deployment policy as a tool for the revolution. We are not going to be told by liberals and their institutions how we must execute the national democratic revolution. They must win elections and do whatever they want. Here in the Western Cape, since the DA took over, displaced black professionals across departments, be it provincial or local government. We are proud of our cadre deployment. It must not, though, be a patronage deployment policy. We must deploy capable, committed, and theoretically grounded cadres of our movement. We are deploying who are responsible for the collapse of our state under our own watch. Comrades, neoliberalism is responsible for the opening of the floodgates for the wholesale privatization of SOEs. Matabane, as the SACP said, no to privatization of all state-owned companies and entities. Privatization ayo yethu, the prescript of Western imperialist institutions such as the IMF, the World Bank, and OECD countries. If this government, national, is the government of the people for the people, must respect the people and ensure policies are in the interest of the people, not of Western imperialists. That we reject, comrades. And that is why we insist that our government must be different. The second last point, and this point brings us to the matter about the reconfiguration of the alliance. Masivuye that the alliance, the SACP and the ANC will have bilaterals on the 1st of July, but not for the first time. And the matter is about the reconfiguration of the alliance. What do we mean by reconfiguration of the alliance? There are forces, comrades, within the body politics of our movement who are bent to vulgarize the discourse about the reconfiguration of the alliance. In their state of power hunger, they reduce the reconfiguration debate to a power hunger. They reduce it to reconfiguration debate to deployment debate. Communists here in the Western Cape have been victims of purging, of manipulated processes, but we remained loyal to the movement because for us, this alliance is not just about deployment. That is why not a single communist in the legislature. Despite this marginalization, we still committed. The policy position on the reconfiguration of the alliance seeks to ensure that our alliance adapts to the present political conditions, which are contested by the regressive tendencies which we have outlined above. For example, let me not get into that one. In a sense, by a reconfiguration of the alliance, we refer to the development of a common alliance committed to defend and advance our shared national democratic revolution based on the vision of the Freedom Charter. Such a reconfigured alliance must be guided by the desire for consensus amongst the organs of the alliance on the following matters. This debate must not be a debate of the elite leaders. It must find expression here. In this plenary and in commission, that we say, there must be a common analysis of the socio-economic conditions facing the primary motive forces of our people, the working class, followed by a common socio-economic approach program, manifesto development, and its joint implementation by adequately inclusive alliance leadership in all key sites of power and terrains of struggle. That is done by us, not by proxies of the international capitalist market forces who are deployed to infiltrate our movement. The second point, conducting of an alliance candidate based on common alliance discipline during the elections campaign, as well as alliance public reps and office bearers afterwards. Provisions enabling elected SACP, COSATO, SANGO reps to articulate independent perspectives where they are deployed within the framework of a reconfigured alliance. So that communists are not found advancing and defending neoliberal policies of privatizations of entities of the state. That we don't accept. Common approach on binding democratic consensus seeking consultation to the coalitions when it becomes necessary to seek coalition partners post-election based on the results of elections. So, no decision must be taken about our revolution without all the forces existing in the movement. And that includes the organs of the alliance. That's what you mean in brief about the need to reconfigure the alliance. That the alliance becomes the strategic political center of power without liquidating the independence of all the organs of the alliance. They remain independent and autonomous. Comrade Chair, as I sit down, what are the most important tasks living out of this meeting as the alliance in the group? The first one, as we live here, we should find expression in the declaration and program. Institutionalization of political and ideological development from the PEC to the branch level. We must dispel the notion that because you serve in the PEC and REC, therefore you have reached the ceiling of grasping the theory of our revolution. Zonke DP. Institutionalization of mass work such as marches, picketing. It cannot be correct that our interface with the people is reduced only during election periods. That in between elections, we are able to reconnect with our people, learn from them, work with them. What are we going to say to our people as Asbat Kibele in 2021? Regional political council at both provincial and regional level. Focus on sectoral work beyond elections. Prioritize the labor movement. The labor movement is fragmented because of neoliberal policies which have fragmented or restructured workplaces. In workplaces today, abasebenzi baneziduko in the form of co-workers, casualized labor brokers, including EPWP. Actually, it does appear that EPWP is becoming a new form of cheap labor led by the state. It cannot be correct. You are in the EPWP for a partner period, you must be absorbed as a full-time worker, so that because the same EPWP is counted for the state for employment. Employ EPWP workers full-time. Comrades, as the SS we say, on the 7th of July, there must be a picketing. AUCT, our national government, will be holding a graduation of the Nelson Mandela Fidel Castro Brigades. Upper Western Cape is the only province which is not utilizing the program of sending potential students to Cuba to be trained as doctors, and the national government need to intervene and select potential students directly from the Western Cape so that they can be able to benefit from this program. Let us have a program to address the issue of the race system, particularly the central line. But equally, we must have a program to deal with the nexus between the criminal network, certain elements from business, raw committee leaders, abazinkokele mini, babezi extortionist ebusuku. If we don't address the issue of extortion, next time, the next provincial chair, even though the secretary of the SACP, will be appointed or influenced by these extortionists. As we speak, we need to ensure that here we resolve on the lifestyle audit of all leaders of the alliance, from the province to the region, so that there must be a relationship between your lifestyle and your sources of income, as basis to deal with any attempt which may lead to the infiltration of our movement. Civilian criminals and thugs within this movement. Comrades, we wish the ANC non-conference ibe impumelelo, and that leadership elected and decisions will indeed be carried out and help us preparing for 2024. Amandla.
Elilizwe lelamakomanisi azoze aphela amandla. Elilizwe lelamakomanisi azoze aphela amandla.
Amandla! Amandla! Viva ANC, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva SACP, viva! Thank you, comrades. Thank you, comrades. I'm here to welcome our Secretary General, Comrade Mbalula, who need no introduction, comrades. SG is here to open this conference. He's here to give us marching orders of what we are expected, or the new incoming PEC, together with you as members of the ANC, must do to make sure that in this province we contribute towards the ANC nationally winning over 57% of the country. Amandla! 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 Viva ANC, viva! Viva ANC, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva Communist Party, viva! Viva Communist Party, viva! Viva Western Cape, viva! Viva delegates, viva! Viva delegates, viva! Viva ANC Youth League, viva! Viva ANC Youth League, viva! Viva ANC Women's League, viva! Viva ANC Women's League, viva! Amandla! Thank you very much, Comrade Program Director, Provincial Acting Interim Chairperson, Comrade Lerumo Kalako. We are actor, Dlame. The coordinator of the IPC, Comrade Tandi, the entire IPC leadership present here, NEC members led by Comrade Barbara, and all NEC members deployed, not only in this conference, but in this province. Comrades and distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen of the media, revolutionary greetings, comrades, from the National Executive Committee of our glorious movement, the African National Congress. We are here to give support to you and to wish you a very successful conference. I want to start by saying and applaud the delegates of this conference. Despite the glitches we have seen starting from yesterday, when this conference was supposed to start, I think you comrades have kept your cool and your discipline of what is expected of ANC members. Normally in conferences of the ANC, you come abantu behamba ngeentsula, abantu bethukisa, abantu behamba ngecoffin. Yet despite the contest and differences of leadership, you have kept your cool. And this is good not only for you, but is good for the African National Congress. This image that ANC people, when they meet Zindlavini, ANC people, when they meet are hooligans, they don't think about our people, they think simply about positions, as though that positions are getting out of fashion. You will contest in this conference, others will win, others will lose. But the ANC must remain, comrades, after your contest. We went to a national conference of the ANC, and some of you in this province had preferences of who must lead at national level. You had very strong preferences. Even those who contested, including myself, we came here. We had comrades here among yourselves who supported us in these positions we hold today. Abanye babo, they are contesting here today in their own name and right. And bazi noba bayenzile threshold. She says, Valonto. We don't know whether some of them made the threshold. But there are equally those who did not support us as leadership and also made their voices to be heard. And then they stood and they went around the province and canvassed their opinions. At the end, comrades, we all went to Nazareth and we contested. And there was leadership outcome. Those who supported us and those who did not support us are members of the ANC. We equally have a task to build the African National Congress. So I want you to relax and to sit back under very difficult circumstances. We have arrived at this conference of the Western Cape, which has taken us over 5 years to get to this point. We have had changes even in leadership of the IPC, to the point where comrades think that they are leadership. An IPC is an IPC and it has got a lifespan and it doesn't exist forever. And I want to thank these comrades today also, of the IPC, old and young, for holding the fort and under very difficult circumstances. And some of them were actually attacked and be given names, but they stood firm till to this point. Because they did not appoint themselves to be in the IPC. They were appointed by the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress. So I want you, comrades, not to treat them as though they were leadership. They were just temporary. And don't be too hard on them. And give them a good round of applause. And don't come in this conference, comrades, with your heart. Come with your mind. Because if you come with your heart, you will have problems. I've known comrades who came to conferences of the ANC with a heart and even declared that so and so, if he's elected, I'll go naked. If so and so is elected, I will abandon my membership. And then we ask ourselves a question: how can you go to that extreme? Because conference can produce any result. And where will you be? And the conference produced the opposite of what they wished. And they are still here. And they never went naked and they never left. Because you must look at the question of leadership with a mind and principle. I know it is difficult now. Even what I will say as an advice here to some of you is too late in the day. Senikabili, abanye benu, you have taken a stand, you have decided. But I'm happy for one thing, that in doing so, you did not bring the ANC in disrepute. You can contest, you can do what you want. And comrades, leadership in a conference is decided by persuasion, by engaging, by talking to each other, and by persuading each other to arrive at a common position in terms of leadership of the province. And that discussion must be underpinned by a principled political perspective of what kind of leadership we want in the Western Cape for the African National Congress. And if we want this kind of leadership, and informed by this set of principles, who must then come into that leadership? And it means that you must then go for the best in your ranks. That you know, because they say in the organization, you rise through the eyes of your peers. You don't just drop from nowhere. You rise through the eyes of your peers. I umavugengeni. Kokela, when he's supposed to be introduced, we don't know him. And then you ask a question, who did you elect in a conference? Because you elect the leaders that you know. The people you have worked with, the people you've been toiling with, the people who know you and you know them. So that tomorrow you are not caught by surprise. Surprises are a problem, comrades, are a very dangerous package in the long term. And that is why this terminology of a factory fault is not far-fetched. Especially in our history, we have produced a lot of such. When you see a person even going and forming and joining political parties because he did not get what he wanted, and then you realize this person was a senior leader at some point in the ANC. And then you ask yourself a question, how did it come? It's because of this dangerous package. You need to talk among yourselves, and you don't need to blame the National Executive Committee. I deliberately mentioned Nazareth because among yourself you gossip. So and so ngumntu kanobhala. Andinamntu wamntu mina. Into endiyaziyo kukuthi I've got comrades and cadres of the ANC. Even if you supported me at conference, it was correct because maybe you saw leadership in me. But now I'm a leader of all ANC members. And I speak, I dare say, on behalf of all ANC leaders who are in the national executive, starting with the president. It was easy for people to be elected because they brandish, I am CR17, I am RET, I am this and that. All of those things are gone. Zmele ngokwakho and convince others why you must be elected. Do not attach a label next to your name. Because other comrades do not have the access that you have next to the leadership. So convince comrades by your deeds and your standing that you deserve to be their leader. And comrades, you need to talk. And I emphasize this point that you need to talk, especially here in the Western Cape. Because here in the Western Cape, we are facing a difficult revolution. You are busy fighting for nothing, and yet the power is gone. The DA here in the Western Cape is in charge. And then I don't see you, comrades, taking the DA to the task. But the DA is chasing us everywhere in the country. We can feel them. Even with lies and distortions, but they are there. Even in Tshwane, where they've been governing for the 7 years, they are there and they still blame it on the ANC even when they are in charge. Even in Johannesburg, when they've been shuttling in and out of the municipality, they are still blaming everything on the ANC. Even Ekurhuleni in Port Elizabeth, they are still blaming it in the ANC. Yeah, in Western Cape, where they mismanage power, they are just cruising, they are having a good time. They have even sold the story to the rest of the world that where we govern well. And the world believes them. And there is ANC here that has allowed them to perpetuate the lies and the distortions. Because the ANC is fighting is at each other's throat for a temporary power. You will elect leadership here, comrades. What will that leadership do after this conference? To lead this province out of this quagmire that we are facing in this province. Are you able to talk and accommodate each other? You are not doing that. You are being confused by individuals, some who've got lots of money. And comrade, you will get money for this conference. It will end on Monday. And then it will be back to square one. At least take the money, but put the mind. And understand where you are going. And let me assure you, comrades, the days where the ANC and everyone do as they wish, we are now in the renewal agenda, are not over. They are behind us. Akusekho kwavula sibhuqe apha kwa-ANC. Umntu xa kangakwazi uziphatha, if you can't behave, we will give you a chance. If you don't, we'll straighten you up. If you don't, we will put you in your place. And even NEC members, I see them here. Some of them have not deployed them in this conference. And I'm going to allow them to be here because some of them are born in this province. But if they cause confusion, bazawundazi indibhinqe ngantoni. Yekeni le nkomfa iqhube ngendlela zayo ide iyophela. Leave these comrades to talk among themselves and find each other. If you can't find each other, go to the vote. What will come out of the vote will be the product of conference and must be supported and be respected by everybody. We cannot afford the ANC to be delayed any longer in the Western Cape. The leadership that will come out of here, with all its imperfections, we will correct it as we get along. It will be the leadership of the Western Cape and we will respect it. You, comrades, have got the responsibility. And unity is not something that is an event. We work on it. And we must now begin to dissect. When we are divided, what divides us? I hear the comrade of the Communist Party, ubetha kamandi. Uthethi politics noba singavumelani kwezinye indawo. But at least I'm happy to differ with him because I differ with him on political matters, not on personalities. And this is what must define us, because uthethe enye into apha yandenza ndaba nama-CEs watshintsha ipolicy apha kule platform ye-EPWP wathi masiyenze permanent. Ndayicinga ndathi we-investigate ephi le policy kathi masiyitshintshe ngoku siyenze permanent abantu sibenze abasebenzi. Ipolicy kaloku loo nto siyicingisile loo nto. It's an ANC policy, it's an alliance policy to implement something called EPWP. It's a program. Xa i-Communist Party ke ngoku icinga ubafana masiyitshintshe siyenze permanent jobs masiyicingisise mhlekazi ngoba ifuna imali loo nto. Ngoba yes niyayifuna kukho abangayifumaniyo. Law program nifakwe kuyo because in a purpose. Ayo purpose ye job la program. Fana nalanto ye reservist pa emapoliseni. Daxakwa ngamapolisa when I arrived there. They wanted to move from reservist to be permanent. And some of them tell me, I've been a reservist for 10 years. The reservists were not meant to be 10 years. They were meant to be temporary. Including President Ramaphosa, he was a reservist. So a reservist is somebody who shares his time and skill for a particular period in a police station. And then say that I'm an IT specialist. Ngoba no yiswa kubhali docket, I'll spend 10 hours of my time to write dockets for you in the police station. I'm a qualified IT specialist, I'm a graduate and all of that, or I'm unemployed. I'll spend my time in the police station. That will increase your value proposition in terms of your CV, that you once volunteered in a police station, but it can't be turned into a job overnight. You are employing people by back door, and then when it explodes, you don't have answers. And the reason why we implemented EPWP was to skill the disengaged youth in terms of job entrance, was to skill those who've got qualifications, but at the same time, they are there, but it is said that they did not practice any form of job experience anywhere else. And then we said EPWP. But equally, it targeted the disengaged. A young person with ambitions drop out from high school because of early teenage pregnancy. That person is unskilled. He will not find job anywhere. We put that person through the EPWP program for a particular period and give that person a skill so that he can then, in the future, be absorbed in the job market. That's what EPWP is there for. It is not a job creation scheme, so to say. It's an intervention by the state, and that is why it's located in Public Works program. So if comrades want to change that, let's talk about it. And we can't just frog march to the next point without interrogating the other part. And there are many of these programs. We in the Youth League were advocating for a program called National Youth Service Program. Because many countries in the world, United States is leading, and in Africa, Nigeria is leading in terms of youth service. Comrade Trevor Manuel said, where will we get money for that, Mbalula? When he was minister. And we wanted it to be in the policy. It is in the policy of the ANC. So we said it must be massified. And what did they do? They gave us what is called Umsobomvu Youth Fund. Out of the demutualization process of the old mutual, they gave us 1 billion rand. 1 billion rand. And then they called it Umsobomvu Youth Fund. Its first CEO was Malo Sekeka. And then that Umsobomvu Youth Fund was then targeting youth entrepreneurship to give money to small businesses of young people and support them. Over time, we merged Umsobomvu Youth Fund with National Youth Commission. National Youth Commission played a role of advocacy. Their job was to knock in government departments and say, you, Department of Transport, tell us how many young people have you employed? How many young people have you put through a program of skills levy, program of youth service in your department? And then that is why they produced a national youth development document, which has not been reviewed till today. By the way, Jabu Mbalula was the chairperson, Mahlengi Pengu was the first chairperson, Jabu followed. And then after that, we dissolved that into National Youth Development Agency. Abana budget ababantu be Youth Development Agency. Bane 200 million. Abanayo ephelwa ki salary ingakadi yenzi noba yintoni na. So don't sell a story to the youth like NYDA is a wow. NYDA still plays advocacy role, but to a certain extent, limited, can intervene in terms of a number of youth projects there and there. Ojabu Mfusi sabalahlela kulantu apha Western Cape. Sabaqasha pha. Beqhuba laa nto leya yomsobomvu Youth Fund and so on, creating opportunities for the youth. And that is what we have done. So comrades, the task of youth unemployment and job creation is not a task of NYDA, it's a task of the state as a whole. And that must be then championed by the Youth League, but it must equally be championed by NYDA through a framework of youth policy intervention. and advocate for that, for things to happen. Today, we implemented through that youth policy, through learnership programs, we have through that particular project implemented learnership projects as part of the youth policy intervention in this country. Championed and led by the Youth League and the National Youth Commission, and later on by the National Youth Development Agency. What this country needs, it needs a vibrant youth leadership at the center of youth development struggles of youth in this country. This concept, economic freedom, was conceptualized by the Youth League in our lifetime, in a conference in Galaga Estate. Umalima waiba wamkangayo. Form my political party. And then ukalni house ufunu bangogi RET naye ngoku abaleke ngayo. Athi no sisekhona siphila sibajongile. They now want to run away with that and want to call it RET, an organization. Now, at the turn of the century, comrades, when the ANC turned 100, we amended our strategy and tactics. We said we have attained political freedom. It is not enough. And the next mission in this transition, we called it the second transition. Kula conference ndabethwa kuyo ndashisa. Mangaung. In that conference in Mangaung, sikiwa enye into pakutwa izumantashe. You then, in that conference, in the strategy and tactics, amended the strategy and tactics and said the second transition must be defined by economic freedom. And then you left it like that in the strategy and tactics. In Nazareth, where Matamela was elected, you shifted the gear. And then you said in the strategy and tactics, it is not enough to sloganize. We must talk about socio-economic must be speeded up. That is what you talked about in the strategy and tactics. And in that, you then adopted resolutions that were very radical, because you said radical economic transformation. You know how radical they were. They make Richard Khanyago to think all the time, because you said the Reserve Bank must be nationalized. And then you said land must be expropriated without compensation. That is now giving the meaning to radical. Because once you say land must be expropriated without compensation, you're moving from that apologist approach of willing seller, willing buyer. And that is what the ANC is and has been affirmed even by the last conference in terms of the strategy and tactics of radical economic transformation. And we must implement. That is what we are about, comrades. Here in the Western Cape, in the farms and everywhere else, our people are marginalized. And that's why in this conference you've got the Rural Pact, I'm told. No, ndiva nami esithubeni. Now, comrades, the most important thing that we need to understand is that the strategy and tactics of the ANC have evolved over time and to the point where we are here today to fight for the economic emancipation of our people. As people seek to divide our people in the Western Cape, the ANC must be at the center of uniting. Comrades, there is nothing that says black is outside African, and then colors are defined outside black, because colors are part of black. And that is what we must understand. And so when we talk about equity, it doesn't exclude colored in the terminology of black. It means we are as allsam en die werk daarso. How the DA wins the elections in the Western Cape puzzles everyone. But you can see that is a rigmarole, is another project. Because the oppressed, even from the point of view of governance, are not affirmed by the DA government in the Western Cape. At the bylaws, including the city of Western Cape, how they treat taxi owners. They just treat them from the point of view that they are Swargafar. They just treat them like non-entities. You know, I struggled as a Minister of Transport here to get the Central Line back. Because the DA, I will come back, will agree. I see Malusi Boy now, he doesn't know whether he's expelled or not expelled. In the DA, he always apologizes to Helen, try to appease her. Dibuyisele, ma'am, dibuyisele. He was the MMC here in Cape Town, whom I thought he understand our plight inside the DA, as the MMC of housing and so on. So I say to them, find land, move these people from the tracks so that the trains can move, because this transport of taxis and so on is eating from the pocket of the poor and the working class. The trains must run. 20,000 people a day commute between the townships and Cape Town. And once you say they must now use other means other than a train or a bus, if they are working for transport, their salary goes to transport. So we then say, let's bring back the trains. They came as if they are with us. All what they want, they fight for what is called devolution. Because in that devolution, comrade of the Communist Party, they are in bed with the private sector. Because they want to privatize public transport in the Western Cape. So once we devolve this and give it to them, there will be private trains running across Cape Town. And then that will not resolve the problem and the plight of the working class. And the ANC policy of making trains and public transport accessible will go out of the window. And that is what it will mean. Leave alone the fact that PRASA was mismanaged over the years by our people, but the purpose and the intention of the liberation movement, the ANC, to make transport accessible to the poorest of the poor does not take that particular position away. And that is what we must understand. So the DA here have never worked for the poor, and in particular for our people. And that we know. But where is the voice of the poor if we are at each other's throat? And the ANC is divided, the ANC is going down, the ANC is not united. And this conference, comrades, must be understood in that context. We must not lament and complain when we've got an opportunity to unite the African National Congress. Delegates cannot be voting cattle who cannot think for themselves. When they get to the ballot, because somebody somewhere, he is actually making determination about what must happen in this conference. Delegates must think for themselves. And that is why these factions who are giving you money, they didn't pay for this. I had to go and find money for this, together with the TG. These people who are giving you money to drink and do everything, they didn't pay for where you sleep. We had to get money to pay for where you sleep. This money that they are distributing, they are giving you, they are not giving it to the ANC to pay for this conference to succeed. They are giving it to you. And for simple things, because by the time you go home, those nice things will have expired. You won't even be able to buy your kids supper when you go back home. So, comrades, it has been very hard to get to this point for this province. It has been very, very, very difficult. And I know you can unite if you want. There are many comrades in this province, either in the metro and even in the rural areas, who have been at the helm of leadership of the ANC in this province. If you talk among yourselves, find sanity, you will unite. You will unite. But if you can't unite, you are married to the slate, you can go with it. But I was encouraged by Nazareth, because I went into that Nazareth, I was not even as a secretary given a chance. Because bese kugqityiwe ukuthi uMbalula akazungena. Ndinivile nicula le ngoma nithi jike ujonge ecaleni. Ndayicula apha ekhaya elitsha la ngoma. Ndathi jonga, khona into ezakwenzeka. Khona into eshukumayo. But ke umdu is my comrade. And he's my leader. We are together. We work together, including Comrade Pumulo. So we don't treat each other as enemies. The conference is gone now. And we work together to build the ANC. Nina uba nisese Nazareth. If you are still in Nazareth, you are on your own. We have long left that place. I'm here today. The president will be coming straight from France. Nimbonile Mosefuta Matangaji. On the African agenda. He will move there tomorrow or on Sunday or any time. He will be here to close your conference. Matame. We are united in the ANC, comrades. I know there are other people who are already thinking about 2027. Balapha nje baqashile sebecinga ngo-2027. Some of them are even thinking that if Phala were to go the wrong way, we will be in quick and fast. Now, let me tell you this. The ANC is not in a crisis. And we decided on Phala because we said, can you allow everything else to be done? And then after that, we will then talk about what needs to happen. And that agenda can't be set by Malema or the DA. And then the ANC will make its own determination about what must happen. And two, we will not just sacrifice our president at an altar. Neither are we sycophants of Ramaphosa. We are not. If anything were to arise and it require us to take a decision about the president, we've got rules in the ANC and the checks and balances, we will decide. If the president has to step aside at some point because he's got things to answer from a point of accountability, he will step aside. Utlas Palama step. There's no problem about that. The president will step aside, there's no crisis. There is no crisis of leadership in the ANC. And don't start to ferment that. Because conference have closed that matter. It elected president, it elected deputy, it elected Secretary General, National Chair, Deputy Secretaries, and then the TG. And the Constitution is very clear. When one falls, the other one comes in. And I came to Parliament here to clarify some overzealous MPs. Why umashatile ngangene Parliament? And it uzawungena. Wait, we are resolving issues, we are shifting people. And we're shifting people. And then we put the DP there at the back. Yabona abamfuna Deputy President. And then I came here and clarified MPs, comrades, the Deputy President will be sworn in. Don't worry. There is no crisis. This thing, when there is a problem, Becky writes a letter, you want to respond, as though there's no leadership. There is organization here. Becky is writing a letter. Unalo ilungo udlamini to raise issues. Unalo ixesha lokucinga. He's got enough time to think. And I don't want to fight with him when he thinks, because he's got enough time to think. Leave it to us. And it's just now we have been elected. We'll talk to him and then understand him where he comes from and process matters. This thing that when there is an issue, you all want to talk. You've got an opinion. Your opinion, comrades, we need it here in the battle of ideas. The ANC is under attack. We don't see your opinion there. Ujanki is chairing a very important committee there in Parliament. Ukisa abantu amapipe. Abantu badla ngamapipe. Ujanki. Deploy ANC. Now, there are allegations that this and that, and the comrade says this is recorded by the public protector. There is leadership. We process these issues. There is somebody who says the leadership we have is quite all right. Now, you know that that issue will not just go. So we say, Comrade Tina, pass on. I ask these comrades, Hindoni land, ithethwayo ngani? They explain themselves in writing. Tibaqala ngefoni uqala kusesekuseni, one by one, from Pemi to Tina. I won't talk about Tina because she's no more. But Pemi and Kubutile, they say, SG, asiyaz lendo slambizandla. And they write. So I've got no right to doubt the bona fides on the basis of frivolous accusations. Parliament, Comrade Tina, pass on. I can't say what Comrade Tina said, what he did to me. I respect the family. Any other process must be subjected to the law. And we can't conclude even about what killed Comrade Tina, because we don't know. We subject that to the law process, and we protect the right of Comrade Tina and equally the family, who are the children of Comrade Tina. You can analyze till you turn blue and this and that, but we've got to respect that process. Equally, there is nothing in all that is said materially that says these two comrades of ours in Parliament did something. Nothing. Nothing, except that it is alleged that somebody through the recording said the following. But these comrades were not caught in anything materially, that they were in a meeting, in a conversation that said that this thing we are party to it. Now, on the basis of that, we can't arrive at a conclusion that anything must then be done to these comrades and judge their bona fides. And in this particular regard, the processes must be observed in terms of Parliament. And that's where we are in terms of our comrades. So comrades, Pala Pala, all of those issues have been processed as we speak. And nobody has said that what the media wants, and which is what I said the other day to them, you want to run a kangaroo court, it's fine. We know where we come from with that. A group of journalists met in Johannesburg, off the record, and then they were briefed about Jacob Zuma's case. And then it became a big issue. What kind of a country that doesn't learn? Somebody goes to court, the courts pronounce, you attack the judges, that they are wrong for arriving at a particular decision. There's nothing wrong to criticize judgments, but you must be factual. Judges are not demigods. It's like Judge Zondo now. He's got an opinion week in and week out, which is fine about him, that certain things must be done and all of that. But we must respect separation of powers. because he has done what he was supposed to do. He's finished. He has handed over to other organs to do their job. That's it. Parliament and all of that. Naye ubhala la report, it took him a longer time. He had to change it from time to time and ask for more, for more, for more. So, country, how will it be easy to arrest somebody overnight? Because judges have resolved that people must be prosecuted, it's easy for Patoi to do that job. Leave Patoi, the team, and the NPA to do their job without fear or favor and come to a conclusion, including arresting people. Because if you put undue pressure on law enforcement, they will make mistakes. They will arrest people for cameras, but they will not be convicted, those people. Because the people we are chasing have got deep pockets. They've got money. The end of Tombazana is a lawyer, an expert. He was illegally arrested in Tanzania. Haibo. Unfortunately, the courts ruled against that nonsense. But this is what happens in our justice system. A person skipped the country illegally and says, I was illegally arrested. Ukupe I boyfriend at wrong way. It is alleged. We must always use this word, alleged. Kutwa I boyfriend yakhe uyikhuphile trongweni ibanjiwe wafake abafake into ukuthi ebefile lomfo eberani party behind the bus. Dikuleleni happy birthday. A crook behind the bus. They've got deep pockets. They defend themselves. What the ANC must advocate for is the strengthening of law enforcement in the country. So, comrades, we are not wrong when we say, let's go back to the model of the Scorpions. We are not wrong. It doesn't matter. Whoever you are, if you've got the answer to answer, you must answer. But law enforcement must not be put under due pressure. And then others mount a campaign against the public protector. Colleague, because she must produce a particular result about the president. Colleague asked them 10 points and said answer. And that's no pendulum on Palapa. Thereafter, they are now chasing her wherever she goes. There is a campaign. Leave the public protector. Even in Mkwebane, we never had campaigns and stop her from doing a job. Erratic as she was, we allowed her to do a job. And I'm saying erratic because it has been proven in court of law, one after the other, that she is an erratic and inadequate public representative. That's what the courts have said about her. And then she's answering that question before. And Mkwebane must answer the question before Kubutile. Kubutile enye nenye uzayiphendula. Xa kufuneka iphendulile. And asizujika kulonto. They must finish the job. That is it. They must finish the job. And we're not protecting this comrade because we believe kuye. But we are not going to chase comrade on flimsy reasons. Into engabambekiyo, into viti nje, yeah. Into engabambekiyo. Tina is not there. We don't know whether she did that. We don't know whether she did that, Utina. If she did that, why she did that? Because the ANC does not give anybody a responsibility to do the things that is alleged have been done. The ANC doesn't do that. That's why we took the raider to task. Sisamleka nangoku simfuna eGermany. And asizumiyenka. A citation was given to us in the Pretoria High Court to chase the raider. We're still chasing him. And we found that he is staying in Hamburg in Germany. And now it is a process, comrades, of the law to chase him. But Mbalula, he didn't serve papers on the raider. He's appearing here through Zoom. If he's in South Africa, he must come here in Parliament and face slang what they're in Skopa. He's in Germany, in a city called Hamburg. I don't know all these crooks, what they see in Germany. Even Marcus Weste is from Germany. All these crooks with white... I've never heard anything said in this country. Marcus Weste, warrant of arrest issued. Big crook, billions. Here in the Western Cape. Nithule nilwa ngokuthi ngubani ofuna kokhele. A big crook here in Western Cape, Marcus Weste, under warrant of arrest. I've never seen Western Cape ANC anywhere raising a statement about that crook. You are in a conference at each other's throat. There is a crook here in Stellenbosch who have embezzled workers' pension money, yabantu. Nithule hingengelelele. AfriForum, you will never see them on that one. But they will be the first, including Alan Winde. I don't know with which police he thinks he can arrest Putin. He thinks these traffic cops who arrested Tony and driving can arrest Putin. He's playing. He's playing. He goes, this Alan Winde, he says he's a patriot. They and there's John Weste. Now I'm about to conclude. Him and John Weste. John Weste then took a flight, whatever he did, he goes to Ukraine. And then he goes there, he thinks this is Netflix, he then takes a picture of himself. I don't know that thing that he was taking a picture from. And then he's wearing old fell schooner. Yeah. Old fell schooner. There in Ukraine. He comes back. He can't explain what he was going to do there. Alone. He goes, he comes back. And then he makes a hell of a noise about Ukraine. Like, we are not for Ukraine. Like, we are for invasion of Ukraine. We are not. And I'm going to explain to you the ANC and its government non-aligned position. And then he goes there with Fel Schooner, and then he says what he says. And then in no time he's followed by Alan Winde. Alan Winde goes to America and he meets with Americans. I don't know whom he met. And we never even asked who paid for them to go there. Because the DA don't have to even ask. They've got endless money. I pay Limaliab. They've got money like nobody's business. These political parties who don't even declare where they get income from, they've got endless money. Nobody asks them. But ANC must always account because we've got to account. So he goes there, he badmouths us to the Americans about AGOA. Who said we don't want AGOA? When America threatens that they will take AGOA away from us, it threatens our economy. It means thousands of our people in Port Elizabeth will go unemployed in the automobile industry. We know that very well. And we need to normalize trade relations between us and America. which, by the way, are not threatened. Those trade relations between South Africa and America. All what we have said as South Africa is that we are non-aligned. And we went and told Ukraine, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, and then we went and told Putin, right? Through an African mission led by President Ramaphosa, acting with other African states, and then say that, stop the war. They say we don't take a stand in terms of what is happening. We have taken a stand. We are against the war. But in terms of the war itself, we believe that, one, these are the things that these two parties must do. The other one agree with us without conditions. The other one has got conditions. Where then is our platform of engagement in terms of resolving conflict in the world? It is the United Nations. The United Nations Charter is against an aggression and invasion of another country by another country. Now, Comrade Patel is our Minister of DTI, is doing a marvelous job. And I'm sure he's got a big headache where he is about AGOA and Russia-Ukraine issue, which, if it is resolved, it resolves all our problems, including issues of trade and what Russia means to us and Ukraine and the rest of the world. It will unblock the Black Sea Cooperation in relation of ensuring that globally everybody get to access grain, fertilizers, gas. It also affects Europe and all of that. Now, who doesn't want the war to be resolved? We want the war to be resolved. But this war cannot be resolved outside the parameters of not talking and promoting dialogue between parties. So if South Africa has got an important voice, it can't lend that voice by taking sides. We don't know what are the American interests in that war. The other day, we're talking to our European counterparts, a socialist European party, who are our allies. And they told us, look, in terms of that war, we are for the small brother, which is Ukraine. They told us. We engaged them, and we explained to them our non-aligned movement, and non-aligned position. And they appreciate and they welcome that. The president explained that thing, that position yesterday in France. We are not opportunistic, we are not convenient about our position. We are principled. Comrades, in principle, it means even if you can stand alone, you must stand for what you believe, for you will be remembered for it. And when we start to engage the politics of America, we are told, including by their ambassador, that we are American bashers. We are not bashing America. We don't believe in aggression of other states. We have witnessed aggression before Ukraine. Cuba is suffering from decades of aggression for their self-determination and the belief in their ideology by the United States of America. For years, Cuba has suffered, and they are still suffering today. In Cuba, comrades, when you've got tonsils, they don't have Panado. They say you must gargle with salt because there is no trade of pharmaceutical products for that country. And the Cuban people have stood against that aggression. What is called a blockade. They've suffered. The Cuban doctors you see here in South Africa and all of that, they don't get a cent as countries, as individuals. Investment is to their country to defend the revolution because it suffers from the blockade. Where now here in South Africa, even in the rural areas, when you've got a headache, The first problem you have, and it will be resolved even in your local area, you get grandpa. In Cuba, there is no grandpa. They say you must use your fingers and then start to massage, and then headache will go away. That's what happens there. And yet, yeah, we've got all the luxuries that when you've got this sickness, you can rush to even a spaza shop to get quick medicine. So it is said that we are American bashers when we articulate. I say to the American diplomat who come into our country and bash us, as a diplomat, diplomats don't do that. And he's not withdrawn, he's still here. He comes to our country and say that, no, we have given Russians weapons. We have not given Russians weapons. Russians have got weapons you can't imagine. What can we give them? Roy Falk. Now, comrades, they know we have not given Russians weapons. And the president goes an extra mile and he gets criticized. Ramaphosa, for every solution, he's got a commission. And then we say, yes, that commission is important because we have been and by a superpower, not just by Lesotho, superpower. These people went to war to Iraq and Afghanistan, and they went to Iraq and said that they are weapons of mass destruction. And then we told Saddam Hussein that, look, you've got no power, America will finish you before dinner. And then he said to Saddam Hussein, their tombstones will be erected here in Iraq. We said, we don't have that power. Just allow the United Nations to deal with this matter and prove that you don't have these weapons of mass destruction. He was playing, you know, and all of that. They arrived and they finished him. And they did not prove till today that there are weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And Iraq is still suffering till today. And that's what has happened. He didn't take our advice. We said, allow the UN to intervene on this matter. Because America will finish you. Because they want regime change. Even here in Zimbabwe, Mbeki stood firm. They wanted Mugabe to be changed overnight, and then they attack us on what is called quiet diplomacy. This South Africa's quiet diplomacy is a problem. And then we said, we don't subscribe to regime change policy, that governments must be changed willy-nilly through undemocratic means, through military power. Because America can move right from Botswana, in the afternoon, Mugabe will be finished. Because they are here in Botswana. Yes, they move in the afternoon. By dinner, everything will be sorted. We opposed the sanctions, and then we said these sanctions against Zimbabwe will be detrimental to the growth of Zimbabwe and everything. Mnangagwa conducted a coup d'etat and removed Mugabe. What is the state of affairs? They are still not satisfied. Till they get their puppet into power, they will never be satisfied. Zimbabwe is still under sanctions despite the fact that Mugabe was removed. Mugabe went to grave as a changed president by his own comrades in Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa. He brought Zimbabwe, but they did not want those reforms because they want a man called Chamisa. Is he Chamsa or Chamisa? They want him there to be the leader, the new leader of Zimbabwe, of a new Zimbabwe. In the meantime, Zimbabwe as a country has moved to South Africa. From Gugulethu to Khayelitsha, there's Zimbabwe there. The whole country, Zimbabwe, has moved to South Africa. And then we say to the Americans and we say to the British, give the Zimbabweans what they deserve. Because you agreed in Lancaster that you will give them 40 billion for land reform and redistribution program. They did not give them that money till today. And nothing has changed in Zimbabwe. So, comrades, we are not American bashers. We stand for what we believe in as the African National Congress. We stand for a new world order that is defined by justice, equitable world, that is defined by fairness, that is not defined by hypocrisy, that is defined by a rules-based approach. Rule-based approach that says what must happen to Sam must happen to Daniel. That does not have eyes. Everything must be fair to everybody in the world. We believe in a multipolar world that is not governed by a superpower single that imposes itself as a world policeman, that decides what must happen in countries and between countries. And we respect the United Nations as a supreme body that settled world disputes. And that is what we have advised in Afghanistan and Iraq and Libya. And then NATO and the United States acted alone and then brought misery to those countries. Even today, we are still there in terms of our non-alignment position that let's go this route. At the end of the day, there is no conflict that will be resolved by war. So please understand where we come from. We are not pro-Russia. I know the Communist Party is pro-Russia. I don't know whether the Secretary of the province spoke about it. And some of you support pro-Russia. And then they believe that Putin is right. And everything else is about a proxy war that is waged by America and its aggression by NATO. They provoked Russia before Russia could do any other thing. I think there is that school of thought. What the ANC says, we must be non-aligned. We know Russia is our partner in BRICS, and we are not going to apologize about that. Russia is our biggest partner in BRICS, together with all the other countries of BRICS. Now they keep asking us, what will happen if Putin comes? And Alan Winde says he will arrest him. I don't know with what. Now this is what we say as the ANC, so that in future we don't have this kind of challenges, because we are signatories of the ICC, Rome Statutes. We say they must be amended to allow people of President Putin's caliber to be exempted when they come into our country. It's not us who have started that. Even in the United Kingdom, they've got that. Our parliamentarians here have been given that responsibility to amend the domestication of the Rome Statutes. And that is what we are talking about as the African National Congress. What will happen to President Putin coming to South Africa in the context of the warrant of arrest? The president and the government have been given a mandate by the ANC. Of course, they act within the law to deal with that particular matter, because it's our turn to host BRICS Summit. At the right moment, the president will brief the nation and everybody else about what will happen, having exhausted all the avenues of ensuring that BRICS becomes a success. So as the ANC, we want a successful BRICS. We will host this month the BRICS Plus dialogue of political parties. We have invited many other people to come to that particular dialogue. So comrades, I'm saying to you that stay the course, and that is the public discourse that we need to engage on, and not kill each other for positions. And we as the National Executive Committee, we will abide, Tamzela, with the outcome of this conference. And we will respect We will respect the wishes of our branches. Yekani uba zindlavini, yekani uba imigodoyi. Ibani ngabantu be-ANC. Niziphathe kakuhle, and I want to applaud you once more for the good behavior and not compete and contest for position like they are getting out of fashion. And look at your comrade as an enemy. Talk to each other. And I will tell you a story, comrades. Once I was in the Free State, we were contesting for a position. At that time, I was at headquarters of the Youth League. And comrades were contesting and coming to a conference. And now, these comrades of the Youth League were contesting the ANC in the province. And they had mobilized branches of the ANC, and one comrade of mine, when I arrived there, he went to fetch delegates. And then when the delegates arrived, they booked them accommodation, and there was disco. And then he said to the delegates, comrades, here is your accommodation. I'm quickly going home to refresh and come back. And then this comrade went home. And then when he comes back, he doesn't see these delegates. And then he goes to the room, he knocks, and hey, because they agreed to meet again. And then he asked the security guard at the hotel, hey man, where are these people that I came with? You saw a group of people. The guard says, let me show you. And then in the basement of that hotel, it was happening. Allow me, Amur's disco was going on. A disco was going on in the basement of the hotel, and all these delegates were there. So this comrade was brave enough to open the door. He came in. No, these delegates did not run away from him. They said, yes, Chief, you are looking after us. Are you looking for us? No, we are here. And that time they had a nice tray full of John Walker Black in front of them. The disco was going on. And then they said, you must learn to look after your delegates, Chief. And then I thought that will make you laugh, comrades. And then it will fit to the experience you are about to undergo between now and tomorrow. But you must learn to look after your delegates. But don't look after them only through drink, also with politics. So, comrades, we honestly wish you well, and please finish the business of the conference. And don't hold it back with frivolous things about credentials. Leave them. Leave those things, and then please allow the fate to happen. If you think you can contest, try your luck. But work with other comrades. Don't hold us back. Because when Matamela comes, and you must work hard today, overnight, because you lost a lot of time yesterday. I arrived here last night, and I'm staying just across here. And I arrived there very late yesterday. It was said that you were going to start at 12. I said, I'm not sure. And then I had a meeting in Joburg of the UDF comrades. And I finished that meeting, went home, refreshed, and then went to the airport, flew here last night. So Comrade Barbara said to me, we're going to start still tonight. I said, yay, it's happening. And then later on, I got the message whilst I was unpacking my stuff, no, we'll start in the morning at 9 o'clock. And then I got a message that there are delegates gathered in some hotel. They are drinking like tukamnas. I said, it is not possible that you can get those people in their state to start a conference. There will be anarchy there. Let's rather start tomorrow on a sober note. So, comrades, we're now starting this conference today. We have deployed NEC members here led by Comrade Barbara. They are deployees. We have deployed extra people like in organizing to work with you as well. So when I finish speaking here, I'm going to leave because I'm going to Limpopo tomorrow. We're celebrating Peter Mukaba in Limpopo. So I was just requested to come and open this conference. And I'm not casting aspersions on NEC members who come from this province, who deserve to be in this conference, who are elected in their own name and right, who are not deployed, but are here in that ticket. I don't expect them to do anything except to be just that. So they are our comrades, and I just want to explain that so that you don't treat them with disgust and say, you are not deployed, what do you want? Because in the past, I've seen NEC members who are friends of conferences. Now, with me as the SG, that thing is not going to happen. Ungabanga jika le jacket Mbalula ukhona, le ukhona. It's not explained ufuna ntoni. So here we deployed deployees and people who are supposed to be here to do work and work with delegates. And we've got reports, comrades, about leadership contest. It's fine. Conference must be contested if comrades don't see in the same direction. But you will find each other. But do not run away from talking to each other. You need to engage. And then it is in your interest, in the interest of the ANC, to find each other. And I see also the Youth League is here. The Youth League is going to a conference next week. When I got the report, the only province that was missing in that report was Western Cape, in terms of audit and everything else. So I wish that the Western Cape can also work itself up, because in the next coming week, we are in the Youth League conference. If in that conference there are others who wished that it must not sit, but we have told them that it's going to sit. Because, comrades, after July, there will be no conference. Uba leni ayichitha naibamba andazi nini. Inkomfa, ngoba there will be no conference. All hands on deck. NEC is sitting next week, and then it will finalize guidelines. We will be electing public representatives. That process must finish as quick as we can. So all hands on deck were fixated on the task of the elections going forward. So there will be no conference in the next coming weeks. The NEC too will focus on the manifesto. What is it that we have done since people gave us a mandate in the last election? So that's what the NEC is going to focus on. Because we're too much looking at ourselves, we don't care about the people. So the ANC, since conference, is about renewal, is about the people. And that's what now we are about. And we are not going to allow anyone to derail us from that particular program. So, comrades, we wish you well in this conference, and we wish you wisdom, lots of wisdom, and we want discipline. And those who are ill-disciplined, we will act on those who are acting in a manner that is ill-disciplined. The National Executive Committee is represented here, and it will lead you correctly. And the IPC, its time has come, and comrades, nizamile. To get 500 delegates is not a child's play. You went to national conference without leadership. Nikhokelwa nguTamzela. Igrotman yami endiyithandayo. uTamzela. Uyayazi naye ndiyamlungiselela into zakhe ezimnandi. But akazifuni, but ke ndiyamyeka. Ndithi qhuba Tamzela, xa ixakayo le nto ndisamile kule nto ndikumele ngayo. Ngoba soze sikulahla. You are the veteran of our organization. because otamzela ayingomakhwenkwe ayizolo, if I were to use that word for respect to everyone. They came before. They came from the Robben Island and they served our movement. Akonto sisayfunayo kubo. We must give them their place in the organization. So andifuni nje utamzela aputya nalento nikuyo. Kubani nibulalane nenze lonto nimkhuphe so that azokwazi uni advance kakuhle, but funayo ikuni naleyo asizuyinqanda. We will not stand against it, but uyayazi ke ukuthi ndimxelele naxa ndifika apha ukuthi Tamzile samile kwanto kanti uxelele yona eRhawutini ndikulonto no president for wena, because I think it's the respect you deserve in the organization. So andifuni ndibe ndiyithetha ngathi ndiyithetha under the carpet and then ndinento endinayo against him. I've got all the respect for Comrade Fikile, and that respect would not be based even by me if I wanted, because that revolution, that respect is engraved in the history of the revolution and that comrade. And so, comrades, thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. Amandla! Awethu! Mata! Thank you very much. Of course.
Amanda!